Hello, I'm Jeff Brickle and I'll be performing the demonstration for CADTALK today. So thank you for attending and welcome. So before we begin, a little bit about CADTALK. CADTALK is a CAD to ERP integration, specifically CAD to Acumatica in this regard. So today I will be showing you two different assemblies, how CADTALK is able to transform them directly from the CAD system. So transform a design bill of material into a manufacturing bill of material, or an engineering BOM to an ERP BOM. So on the screen you see the gear train assembly. Today I'm going to be using Solidworks, and I have a small assembly, a gear train. It's multiple levels, but a relatively small assembly. I'm going to show how CADTALK can extract all of the data from a SolidWorks model, whether that's a sub-assembly or a part or a parent final assembly or a finished good, how it can extract all the data, just any kind of properties, the bill of material tree, whatever other tolerances, any metadata that exists about the model. CADTALK can access that, and then using that information, create a manufacturing bill of material in Acumatica. So today, you'll see that these designs that I'm showing do not exist in Acumatica. Every item is new. So CADTALK is a product that can create not only bills of material, but creates the stock items and the bills of material all with one save action. All right? And we're able to configure CADTALK to work worldwide for every customer. So first I'll do this gear train assembly. I'll talk about how we're able to configure CADTALK for everyone. And then I will use the C scooter final, which will show you the power of CADTALK, how I can take not only a small design, but a much larger design with multiple levels and sub-assemblies and subcomponents. So a much larger assembly, and transform that again into a manufacturing bill. So it really shrinks the time from design release to the manufacturing process. So now that I've dragged that model out of the way, you can see the CADTALK interface. I'm already logged into Acumatica, and I did so using my credentials in the same way that I would log into the interface. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say load the SolidWorks file. Now, our customers might use PDM or ePDM, or store the files on a drive, a network drive. Any of those will work. Just depends upon what the customer has. So first things first, I'll load SolidWorks file. I see here that I have a selection of files to look in. Now I'm going to take that gear train assembly, which is the first one we talked about. I'll select open. CADTALK presents us with information saying, hey, I found multiple bills of material. Which one do you want to load? If you use SolidWorks, you'll know that SolidWorks has an idea of configurations. Also keep in mind that I'm showing SolidWorks today, but that we integrate to every major CAD system on the market. I'll select the 4-gear set, select OK. Now CADTALK, you can see down here in the status window how CADTALK is processing so quickly all the data out of CAD, right? All the metadata, descriptions, quantities, the whole bill of material tree, raw material data, weight, any other custom properties that are created. CADTALK gets all of that and then cross-checks it against Acumatica to see if it exists. And if it does exist, it returns that data and then makes a decision whether to update it, to add new parts, to delete old parts, what exactly it needs to do to transform the engineering BOM, the SolidWorks BOM, into the Acumatica BOM. So now you can see in my interface, I have a fully indented bill of material, right? The ZSO6 310, the top level, is a multiple level bill of material. So if I expand all, and I can show you, again, this is a sub-assembly that's going to be a part of the much larger assembly, but it too has sub-assemblies and subcomponents. And so it's multiple levels, so you can see that CADTALK can show you in this tree view the total structure. So CADTALK is a product where what you see is what you get. So what you're seeing here is exactly what's going to be updated in Acumatica. So when I hit save here, you'll see that CADTALK did it down in the status window below. You'll see how CADTALK goes through the process just like someone would do in the screens. So in the screen interface, someone would have to go into Acumatica, log in, and create all of these stock items one by one by one, right? Then create the BOMs for all these sub-assemblies one by one by one. And after doing all of that, then at that stage we'll be able to create the parent item, the ZS06-310, be able to create that item and then add all the subcomponents and subassemblies to it. So that is a very time-consuming job because all of it is manual today. Now, I've seen customers try to automate some of that or make it easier through Excel exports from Solidworks into Acumatica or cut and paste, but generally speaking, that is a slow process and doesn't work real well. So now you can see that the top level is green, everything is ready to go. I can go to Acumatica here and I can look at, oh, I have to log back in. Let me log back in. We can go to Acumatica and I can show you all those new parts. So go to the bills of material. And here you see the ZS06 products, right? So each of those items has been created. So at ZS06-310, there is the bill of material, and I can load that up and show you in the interface the fully indented bill of material. So you can see there's the BOM ID, there's the item, there's the work center assembly, as well as all the parts and subassemblies associated with it. So CADTALK just that quickly was able to create everything from scratch. Now you might ask, well, how does CADTALK do that? How is CADTALK able to create all of those parts that quickly? How does it know what I'm doing? Well, we're able to do that through our property mappings. The property mappings is a unique technology that allows us to define how your models are set up, how your bills should look in Acumatica. So it allows us to create that transformation language, as it were, from CAD to ERP, from, in this case, SolidWorks to Acumatica. And here you see I'm able to create these mappings for you. So when we sell CADTALK, when you purchase CADTALK, the beauty is you work with someone on my team in implementation that explains how we can automate the transfer of data, the truly transformation of data from CAD to ERP. So just to give you some examples, in the description, I have a description mapping that pulls the description directly out of SolidWorks. So now this is a very simple mapping, but it helps to illustrate what we can do to automate the task of what normally would be like a copy and pasting or retyping from one system to another. So I can also have if-then logic. A very popular if-then logic would be, say, if an item is a new item to Acumatica, then I want you to update the description, otherwise keep the description the same. Another possibility that I've seen with lots of our customers is I want to track revisions. So if the revision in CAD and the revision in the ERP, compare those two, and if the revision in the CAD is higher than the revision in the ERP, then update the description. So really, you can think of this interface kind of like Excel, where Excel can make decisions based upon whatever kind of expressions that are built. CADTALK can do the same sort of process. Similarly, you might say, well, how did he know what if you go back to this screen, you'll see I had automations in there. I have this assembly operation, right? So how did I know to have that assembly operation? Well, I wrote a mapping in here that's based upon the logic in the model. So a lot of people ask, well, do I have to have operations in my model? And so, and in fact, it's no, you do not have to have operations in your model. You only have to have what's in the model today. So if you have data in there that's useful to you as a design engineer, then put that in there. And CADTALK can then make decisions based upon that data. So as you see here, CADTALK is adding an operation, an assembly operation. Here it is, right? Here's the assembly operation based upon some facts about the model. Well, the model says it has components. So we can look at a SolidWorks part and decide, well, is this an assembly or not? And if it's an assembly, we're going to automatically add the assembly operation. So CADTALK, even without data that's manually keyed into SolidWorks, we can still determine how that should look as far as operation goes. So those are some of the things that we can do. We can add raw materials, we can update runtimes, really whatever properties that exist on the BOM item, on the BOM in Acumatica, CADTALK can update those as well. So to show you the power of CADTALK, I'm going to load another SolidWorks file, that much larger assembly, that C-Do scooter. So I'll select C-Scooter Final, select Open, select the default, select OK. Now CADTALK is processing all of that information. Right? So again, it's the same thing before. Extracts all of that data, goes to Acumatica, see if it exists, and if it does, makes decisions on whether to update or not based upon those mappings that we showed you, and then presents in the interface, right, a proposed bill of material. Now CADTALK doesn't save anything in itself. It is a middleware product. So we should keep that in mind. So it's an in-between state. So it merges Acumatica data and CAD data and then provides a way in which our customers are able to then review the data and then make decisions about whether I need to update, whether I need to move parts around in the interface, what I need to do. So as you can see, again, I have a much larger bill of material, a lot of new parts. If I expand all, you can see I can drill down that now, and this is in this interface, you see I have a lot of red icons, but I also have some light ones with pluses and some green ones. So that tells me, hey, these are existing items. Right? We haven't changed them. They already exist in Acumatica, but the red ones are new. So not only can we create new stock codes from scratch, we can also add existing stock items in Acumatica onto the bill. So again, here's a fully indented bill of material with all the information that Acumatica needs that's ready to be saved. Right? So now I can save this bill using the Save button. And the same process is going to happen again. CADTALK is going to go through, create every single stock item first, update the description, update the item class, do whatever it needs to do in Acumatica. The easiest way to think about it is if someone were to go into Acumatica manually and do each of those tasks, that's what CADTALK does, but in a systematic or programmatic fashion in the background once you hit the save action. And so it creates all the stock items first. It then creates all those sub-assembly bills of material, and then in the end, at the ZS06-100, it adds every subcomponent, every sub-assembly to that. And then when it's finished, we'll be able to see that in Acumatica, all complete and ready to go. So now, once it's complete, it can be released to the shop floor. The guys can start making it. We can get it out the door. So we're really shortening the time from the finish of the engineering design to the release to the job floor. That's the time that's usually a bottleneck because the engineer has to do the design, and then as a result, someone has to input that bill. And what I've seen is that that's typically a manual process, and it could take days depending on the size of the bill. So the larger the bill, the longer it takes. So if you're creating lots of new items all the time, lots of new parts, new bills of material, this is where CADTALK really shines. So as you can see, CADTALK is still updating. And once we're finished, it'll show in the interface a completely indented bill of material. The top is green, and we see that this is ready to go. So if I go back to Acumatica and look for the ZS06310, again, I go to the bills of material, look at the end, ZS06310, there it is. Again, a fully indented bill of material. Everything is complete. So So that just gives you some of the idea on the power of CADTALK. Thank you for joining today. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at info@cadtalk.com or at support@cadtalk.com or sales@cadtalk.com. Again, I'm Jeff Brickler, and thank you for joining.